Hey there, everybody. My name is Nate Winters. I'm the Director of Sales and Certified Sommelier here at Troon Vineyard. It's a little windy today, but this is the perfect example to talk about why our wines have such compelling phenolics and aromatics. I think this wind has a really strong impact on that. Today, we have some new wines to release, and I wanted to highlight one of them specifically. As you can see, if you're familiar with our Druids packaging, we just changed packaging to this package here for the red. We just bottled these, so now we are really cohesive. It's been a long time coming. I love how they look. We've kind of refined these wines to have more of a focus, and so I think the package now helps tell that story. Today I wanted to be talking about the Druids Pink. The Druids wines for us have always acted, even more so now, as a real focus of terroir. You know, biodynamics is a lens for us to focus this terroir, and these wines is how we express that. The Côte de Rhône white, a Côte de Rhône red, and the pink is more in a Provence style. You can see a lighter, zippy, fresh pink, but we do ferment all of this in oak. Just to highlight this wine, our average barrel age here is about 10 years old, so I would say neutral, but I like to use the term mature because we don't really know what neutral is due to cooperages, certain toast levels, etc. So really old oak to really accentuate the fruit that we have, all this hard work go into the year leading up to the harvest. This wine is unique this vintage for a couple reasons. There's 4 grapes that you find in this wine. I'll use the map. This is block 11 for us, and Grenache in block 11, this is the first vintage that we've actually harvested it. So we thought it should lend itself to rosé. It'll give us a chance to learn more about the fruit if it wants to go into red wine production in the future, or pink is yet to be determined. We also have Mourvèdre, and that Mourvèdre comes from block 12. This is an 04 clone of Mourvèdre, which has larger berries, lends itself a little bit more redder fruit character, so rosé seemed fitting, as opposed to the Mourvèdre that we have elsewhere is the 1069 clone. It lends itself to darker fruits, so we thought that would be better for red wine. So you have Grenache from block 11, Mourvèdre from block 12. We come all the way back up to block 1 in the corner. This is the Counois. Counois is one of the last things that we pick on the property, and it is a red grape. And we kind of intentionally put it that way so that when we pick later in the season, we still have a grape to add some acid and some lift to these wines. And that's exactly what we're learning from this, is kind of a celery salt minerality and freshness that comes with the Counois. So it's really fun to play with these other grapes. The last and fourth is the Cinsault. We have this block 12 Cinsault down here in an L-shaped form. And we found that the east side of this block, this longer portion, lends itself more towards rosé production, and the west side here we pick and use for red wine. That is because most of this, it turns into kind of a gravel soil on the west side, and the east side is more clay, holds water better. So the more draining soils lend itself to more tannin development and a riper style, as opposed to the wet feet here. So we choose the east side for rosé, the west side for red. And you can kind of see it's coming from a couple different portions of the farm, which should lend itself to show the best terroir of the whole organism of our farm, rather than just one block. 10-year-old barrels, fermented and aged in oak, very gentle, unfined, unfiltered, very low sulfur added just before bottling. Such a fresh wine. Let's see, 12% even on the alcohol. And my favorite part about that is I love when they're low alcohol, you could drink more of the wine, but I also like when a wine is not thin or too hollow at that 12%. And that's really what we're trying to achieve, picking on phenolic ripeness, not on sugar. We pick on pH here for a balanced acid and a lower alcohol, but I found it invites more delicate aromatics and kind of phenolics that are ripe for where the wine is, right? We don't have to go back and correct and add acid if we can pick based on acid. And we found that to be a nice result so far. This wine particularly, I think, does speak to Provence. It speaks to Thanksgiving upcoming, the fall, a little bit of a warm blanket wrapped in like these fresh sun rays that we're getting even today, a little cloudy, but nonetheless really bright, but almost coming into the cool hoodie season. And that's when I like rosé, lighter protein, turkey, chicken, other side dishes. That's one of my favorite times of the year to have rosé. This will be the upcoming weekend. We're going to release this wine, so keep your eyes out. We'll have the red and the pink released. The white, we are still waiting in bottle, giving it some more time. That'll be released in the future, and you'll have the full trilogy. But until that point, I hope you can get your hands on a bottle of this. If you have any questions, reach out to us, put a comment down, social media, tasting room, email. We're open for all of it, and we love to be transparent. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, and drink more rosé.